Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stogie Review video review. And just as promised, this week we're going to be smoking the Cusano Corojo 1997 Toro size. And I did a little bit of research on this particular cigar, and I found it kind of interesting. These are made in Santiago, Dominican Republic, with an Ecuadorian-grown Corojo wrapper from the 1997 harvest. That's where it gets the 1997 branded on the band from. It also features a Mexican binder and filler from the Dominican Republic. Now, the more interesting stuff that I read was that this was the highest ever rated cigar by Smoke Magazine. It came in with a 9.6, and it was ranked the #1 newcomer by Cigar Aficionado, as well as being the selected smoke of the May 2005 Robb Report. So here we are with a cigar that's got, quite a bit of hype and popularity behind it. As far as the price breakdown goes, the only place I looked was Famous, so just figured this on being about an average. Box of 20, again Toro size, running $84.95 a box. Now without shipping, that breaks down to $4.24 a piece. If you can also get a 5-pack for $21.95, which breaks down to $4.39 a piece without shipping. And I wanted to mention those prices because this is exactly why you should spend more time at your local tobacconist, because I got mine for $3.95, and I was really surprised to see that my local shop beat out the big guys, and it really makes me kind of focus in and be on the lookout more often. But anyway, I'm going to go right ahead and get to work on this. Now, typical of a Corojo wrapper, this has got like a red tinge to it, and it's usually very attractive. It's also got little bumps. It's got a toothy wrapper. It's got some fairly heavy veins, like Doc Stogie Fresh calls them, the Frankenstein veins, but there's a fair amount of them. It's not riddled with them. The feel's pretty firm. It's got a nice smooth feel to it. There's a light oily sheen. Overall, it looks pretty good. It's a double cap, and it looks like it's on there pretty well. It's a little discolored, but can't really complain about a cap, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and my trusty plug cutter and get myself ready to fire it up. I don't know why I bother, but I'll just show you how I use a plug cutter. This one's actually getting dull. It should have pierced through by now. There we go. I like to push mine completely through until the blade's all the way in. I don't like to just pierce the cap. I don't know why, it's just a habit. And we're good to go. No cracks, no damage. So far so good. Pretty light draws, real nice, smooth, not very much resistance, and it's got a nice sweet tobacco flavor to it. Unfortunately, I forgot my lighter, so I'm going to cut the camera off, track down a lighter, and then we'll get to work. And here we are again. Happened to track down my trusty Rocky Patel tabletop torch, which has been running low on butane, so let's hope it works. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cut the camera off once again and go look for something else. But there we go. That's a good sign. Just going to begin the toast. I do this every time. If this is starting to get old, me showing you that I'm lighting a cigar, shoot me an email and I'll stop doing it, because it seems kind of pointless sometimes. We got a pretty even burn. that first puff, it it's got a slightly dry, woody flavor. It's different. It's not cedar. It's just kind of weird. It's actually pretty enjoyable. It's sort of a woody flavor, and I really can't place it. But it's sort of nice. It's a little dry. There's a pretty good volume of smoke, and it's right now it's about medium body, and finishes isn't bad. It's I guess it's about a medium finish. It doesn't last real long. It's not real short. It's so far everything's kind of medium. A little bit of that sweetness that I mentioned on the pre-light draw is actually starting to come through a little bit, and there's a little bit of spice. So far, it's starting out as a real enjoyable cigar. So let me just kick back and get into this a little bit more, and then maybe I can get into more detail. Oh, also, that's the Toro size. I didn't mention the actual dimensions. It's a 50 by 6, in case you were wondering. So anyway, I'm going to kick back for a few and get back with you in a few minutes, and we'll see where the cigar takes us. Oh, here we are again. As you can see, we're getting a little bit further into the cigar. The burn is a little uneven, but I think it's perfectly acceptable. The ash is a nice light color and seems to be fairly firm. Hasn't fallen on me yet, but it's got a very powdery appearance to it. Like if you've ever had an ash where you kind of drop in the ashtray and then it hits the bottom of the ashtray and then it just kind of poofs and leaves a cloud of ash. It's not real tight and clumped together. It looks like it's sort of powdery for the most part. But I don't think that has anything to do with the taste. It's just something aesthetic, and actually it looks kind of neat. It's different. It's got a sort of mild spice. The spice I picked up initially is mellowing out a little bit, and it's got a sweetness to it. It's really nice. It's kind of zings your sinuses on the way out, and it leaves you with a sweet feel on your tongue. It's pretty enjoyable. Body's still medium. Finishes is I don't know. It's right in the middle. It's not short, but it's not long. The taste is just nice and crisp. So far, it's a really enjoyable cigar, and this is a perfect example of why you should smoke several of one cigar, because the first one I had is actually number 2. I like to do 3, but I only picked up 2 of this particular cigar. The first one I missed out. I just didn't get some of this stuff. The sweetness. It must have been later in the day, because right now it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so my palate's nice and fresh. The first one I smoked, I think I had in my notes that it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and it just might have been too late in the day for me. But right now this is going really well, and really it's just going really well. I'm pairing it up with a hot tea like I've been doing a lot lately. And as you can see, there's lots of smoke. The draw is just effortless. Just a little puff. Just be, puff slow. Take your time. You'll still get lots of smoke. It's nice and flavorful. So I've got a lot of cigar left, so I'm going to kick back and relax a little bit more. And we're back again. And as you can see, we're making progress, getting through this cigar. There's not a whole lot to say. It's very consistent and very enjoyable. The spice is picking up. Now it's getting kind of intense when it goes through your sinuses. And personally, I really like that type of spice. And it's making the cigar, that much more enjoyable for me. it's still producing a lot of smoke. And one of the very positive things about the cigar is I had to leave the room for a few minutes, and I sat the cigar down, walked out of the room, and I came back, about 5 minutes later. I picked up the cigar and it was still burning. I took a quick puff on it and got some smoke. So, this isn't one of those cigars where you have to worry about puffing on it every minute just to keep everything lit and burning evenly. Because as you can see, it's burning pretty well. I mean, just like before, it's a little uneven, but it's completely acceptable. In the flavor department, it's still like a wood base, but I'm starting to get sort of a leathery aftertaste. And it's still got a nice medium body. The finish is just still crisp and clean, and it's starting to get a little bit longer. What I mean by that is when I puff on it, I can feel the flavor or the feel in my mouth for a few minutes after I take the puff. Just like when you puff on the cigar immediately after, you get that intense kind of a heavy feel. That kind of drags out and lasts for a few minutes before it finally settles down. And that's what I mean by the finish of the cigar. The only strange thing I did notice about the cigar is that it's got a hole in it. It's got like a tunnel in the filler, and I'm not even going to bother showing it to you on the camera because I had it up close to the lens and I can't see it on the LCD screen, so I doubt you'll see it. I did snap a few photos. I'll try to edit those into the video, and I'm also going to find out exactly what that is, or I'm going to try to. I'm sure the doc will be able to help me out. I'm going to send him the pictures and see what he thinks. It might just be, it could be just the way it is sort of cribbed and rolled when the filler was bunched. So, but it's, I don't know. It's not affecting the way the cigar is burning or tastes. So, I think it just might be a cosmetic thing in the construction. But just to be sure, I'm gonna ask around and see exactly what it could be. Maybe I'll even contact Cusano directly or try to. So I'll get back to you on what I find out. So. Also during the break, I got out my notebook and I was taking a look, and even though the sweetness that I didn't taste the sweetness in the first cigar that I did in this cigar, everything else seems to be pairing up pretty well. So I would say it's safe to assume that you will get the spiciness, the crisp, clean flavor, the medium body. It's safe to say that you're going to get all that. I don't know that the sweetness is going to vary, and be in one cigar and not the other. So, but definitely count on the spiciness and the others that I mentioned because it's making up for a really nice smoke. And it's still nice and intense through your sinuses, that spice. Also wanted to mention about what I'm going to be smoking next week. It kills me to say this, but it's going to be the Don Pepin Blue Label, and after that it's going to be the 601 Connecticut. And the reason I say it pains me to say that is because I got 2 cigars in the mail that I've been really dying to try, and I don't want to rush them. I want them to acclimate in the humidor for a little bit, even though they came to me overnight mail. And big thank you to Steven, who not only sent me 1 but 2 Camacho Liberty 2006 cigars, and he did that because Jerry and I were talking in the Q&A segment number 3, or the episode number 3, and the question came up, well, what are you looking to try? And I had mentioned that for a long time that the Camacho Liberty was on my to try list. I just haven't had any luck getting a hold of one, and Steven was nice enough to send me 2. So big thank you, thanks a lot, Steven. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to get into these cigars and let you know what I think of them. So, I'm going to get back to this one, and, be back in a few minutes, see where this cigar takes me. And we're back one last time just to wrap things up, and that's the Cusano Corojo 1997. Up until this point, everything's been very consistent. You still get that spice, medium bodied, and it doesn't kind of crest over top of the medium. The finish is still, about average. It's not long, it's not short. The biggest downfall of the cigar right now is that I'm getting a really harsh sort of chemical flavor, and not enjoyable at all. It's actually, when you take a big puff and you get a little bit of it through your sinuses, it almost takes your breath away. It's just that bad. Now, to try to fight that, I've been purging it a lot, and that seems to help quite a bit, and it really cleans the cigar out, and you can get a couple more puffs out of it, and then you get hit in the face with that real harsh chemical flavor once again, and then it forces you to purge it some more, and then before you know it, the cigar's getting really hot, and it's just really enjoyable. So when you get down about this short, about the time where you're forced to take the band off, that's about it. And I even compared that with my notes, and my notes say the same thing. When you get down to about 1.5 inches, the cigar just gets really harsh, and it's just not enjoyable anymore. So really, don't expect to nub this cigar. At least I wouldn't expect to be forced to nub this cigar. Just the flavor's just not. I'm not liking that harshness. But before that, I thought it was a really nice, good cigar. And a lot of people don't smoke the cigars down this short. So if you're the type of person that smokes it down to the band or smokes it down to like 1.5 inches, you don't have anything to worry about. You're all set. The cigar's going to deliver, very good flavors up until the time when you're ready to put it down. But for a person like me who likes to smoke it a little further, don't get your hopes up that you're going to be able to nub the cigar. It's just doesn't do it for me. So overall impressions, would I recommend this cigar to someone? Absolutely. I thought it was a very good cigar. It's not too strong. It's got nice, crisp, clean flavors. And, it's a nice cigar. As far as the band goes, it's kind of funny. I don't remember. I think it might have been this week. Jerry and I talked about what influences your decision to buy a cigar. And Jerry was mentioning when he looks at a cigar, if it's attractive, he picks it up. And this cigar band, I don't know. I think it almost looks cartoonish. It's it's not the type of band that says, "Wow, pick me up." It's just kind of like a cartoonish band that really doesn't scream high society, pick me up and smoke me. But overall, once again, I thought it was a great cigar. So just if the band doesn't do it for you, just ignore it, pick it up anyway. And at a price point of $3.95, I think it's a great deal. It's a great deal for me. I don't know that everyone can get it for $3.95, but even at like $4.50, I think it's a decent cigar to try. Definitely give it a shot. So, in closing, once again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate the support that everyone's been showing for StogieReview.com, and I look forward to smoking the Don Pepin Blue Label with you next week. Thanks for watching. See you guys.